There's an interesting comment here. It says, Student of the Year to Bollywood College Life, Kabir Singh, Real College Life. This is helping me to understand the story a little bit better, the context of the film a little bit better, because initially for me, what was drawing me in was just the idea that you had this guy who was very abrasive, on edge, self-destructive. I was just drawn in by the style of it, the exploration of this guy and his psychology and what he's going through, seeing it all from his perspective. And he also seemed like a possessive person as well. And I recognize some of the, I guess, negative traits about him that the film was keen to explore from my teenage years. And so that's what made me very curious about the movie, to just see how it handled all that and how it handled all the consequences. Knowing that this is more of a reflection as to what people are going through in college helps me to understand a little bit more. Anyway, without further ado, let's jump into this. I am Jabby Kuwait, this time doing a trailer reaction solo. Kabir Singh, official trailer, Shahid Kapoor, Kiara Advani, written and directed by Sandeep Reddy Vanga. This comes out June 21st, 2019, so mark your calendars. I know I'm going to. You guys, make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell icon so you get notified every time we drop another video.
शिवा सुन, उस दिन मैं तेरी क्लिनिक पे आया था ना, तो वहाँ पे एक लड़की थी।
प्लीज प्लीज भाई ये सब मत कर यार।
मैं क्या पूछ रहा हूँ, तू क्या बोल रहा है?
तू कैसा छिछोरा है बे? हाँ, डेली डेली नारा ढीला होता जा रहा है क्या तेरा?
चुप।
कबीर।
रॉकेट, अल्कोहल, ये सब बोल रहे हैं तेरे बारे में बहुत से।
देख यार मैं तेरे को लेने आया हूँ।
मैं नहीं आऊँगा।
क्यों?
नहीं आऊँगा मतलब नहीं आऊँगा ना, बोला नहीं आऊँगा।
साहब वो हाथ से फिसल गया साहब। नहीं
साले इतना दारू पिएगा मर जाएगा साले।
मेरा घर है, मैं जो करूँगा करूँगा।
ये सब चलता रहा तो भूल जाएगा क्या उसको?
नाम क्या है?
प्रीति।
प्रीति को ऐसी वैसी डिग्री नहीं है। दिस इज एमबीबीएस। आप पीछे बैठ के क्या कर रही हो? आज कौन सा लेक्चर है?
Anatomy.
Come, I'll teach you.
Okay. I mean, it's pretty suggestive.
चैप्टर क्लोज होके भी 6 महीने हो गए, तू अभी भी प्रीति प्रीति कर रहा है। I'll be the most fucking affected, you understand?
I really love her, man.
Kabir, what do you like in me?
I like the way you breathe.
Wow. That's a very interesting line, actually. I like the way you breathe.
वैसा पागलपन है, then call me, otherwise you know me.
लाइफ में एक टाइम ऐसा आता है जब अंदर से ना घंटी बजती है, तब बंद कर देना चाहिए सब, नहीं तो ये बंदा गया।
दर्द तुम्हारा इस गुस्से को लेके क्या करोगे तुम लाइफ में कबीर?
I'm not a rebel without a cause, sir.
Jesus. That is so intense. I like the way you breathe. That is such a great line. I'm still not over that. The setting has to be right in order to use it effectively, but if you're able to do it just right, it's gonna be a very memorable moment for you and the other person. Anyway, the word that is coming to mind that I forgot to mention earlier is obsessive. He's a very obsessive character. I had my days in the past where I was super obsessive. This is obviously way more intense than anything I've ever explored or been through in my life. I wasn't ever into drugs and alcohol like this at all. Anyway, what's immediately coming to mind is that this is doing a good job of setting itself apart from Arjun Reddy. It's exploring, you know, similar ideas in a different way, in its own way, a potentially way more intense way. I mean, Shahid Kapoor's eyes alone are just like, Jesus, it's so like, he's constantly got this look of don't F with me. Do not screw with me. I will rip your head off. I don't know if it's because I just didn't see the movie yet, but it seems like there's way more fighting going on here than in Arjun Reddy, because he's like beating up people left and right, or at least getting into scuffles. That obsessive personality is really, really coming through here. He wants everything with this girl, Preeti, to the maximum, like the maximum. It's all or nothing. And when he doesn't get exactly what he wants, he falls into like this very deep, dark depression, obsessing over this girl, not over her, you know, turning, of course, to alcohol and drugs and whatnot. Another aspect of this that's fascinating is how characters like that in real life have these people who are drawn to them, who want to take care of them, who want to help them out, and no one can help out those people. They can only help themselves. In the end, I mean, that's the ultimate truth, is like, as much as you want to be the person to help change this dude and make him better, help him, you know, reshape his life so that he doesn't kill himself, there's nothing you can do about that. When someone is self-destructive like that, there's not a whole lot of change that you can affect. That's just how they are, unfortunately. And it's like, as much as you love them or care about them, it's ultimately up to them what they do with their time, with their life. I can imagine how hard it would be for the female lead in this film, Preeti, to like fall for this guy. He's just not understanding where she's at. Because my assumption here is that she's trying to make sure she doesn't fall behind in her studies, that her studies mean a lot to her, and he's sort of getting in the way of that. He's not being understanding of the fact that she needs to put her nose to the grindstone, as we say over here. He's all about each other. And because he's at a 10 and she's at maybe an 8.5, 9, it's not good enough for him. I mean, at least that's what I'm getting from this. It feels real in that regard. It's like, I feel like I've seen this before in real life, this type of dude. Whether I've seen a semblance of it in myself or just in other people, where, you know, you want just all of it. And the thing is, when you're that kind of person, you're holding so tight to someone, it's like you're suffocating them. Now, all that being said, how do you get there? This Kabir Singh character is so intense. He's so narrow focused on this girl. I'm sure that she's never had anyone quite look at her that way, where all of this attention is for her. And so you can see how that would draw someone in, how that would be romantic. I mean, at least initially, how you might get swept up in that because no one's ever paid attention to you that way and is like analyzing every single part of you. At least that's what I'm probably projecting a little bit from my late high school days. And I remember being very, very intensely focused on this girl to the point that it was almost unbearable. Like, looking back, I'm embarrassed by it. I'm embarrassed by some of the things I see in here because I'm like, yeah, that looks super familiar. I mean, obviously, again, not the drugs or the alcohol, because I wasn't doing all that. But I mean, I had my obsessive days where I just was holding so tight to this person. It was kind of suffocating. Really, really embarrassed just thinking about those days. I try to just block it out. But I mean, you learn from all that. And obviously the other thing drawing this girl to him is the fact that he's just so damn confident. It might just be he gives 0 Fs, and so that appears as confidence. I don't get the ice thing, like the ice down his pants. I'm not exactly sure what was going on there. Or maybe he was trying to give himself a cold shower in the middle of the street. I mean, not in the middle of the street, but like out and about. Like he's why would you? That's just, there is so much fighting in this trailer, and there's this one dude who's like the best extra ever. This guy looks genuinely scared of Shahid Kapoor as he's decking him over and over again. This guy's eyes are popping out of his head like, holy shoot. You know, it's kind of awkward to like try not to cuss on YouTube. What's even more upsetting about this scene here is that it's right after Holi. They're all covered in the color. There's a scuffle going on. I mean, I would love to hear from you guys if you've ever gotten into a scuffle on Holi or right after Holi. That just seems like the worst time to have a fight when you're supposed to be celebrating together. I would imagine for us, it's like having a scuffle on Christmas or Thanksgiving. You just, why would you? But maybe he's justified in picking this fight with this guy. Maybe that guy disrespected his girl. One of my favorite things about Shahid Kapoor is the way he emits pain by doing so little. When he's just by himself on camera, whether he's like smoking, drinking, whatever, and it's like these quiet moments, when he's by himself, he has this way of letting you know what's going on internally without doing too much. And I think that's a great quality about Shahid Kapoor. You can see so much is going on in his mind. It's so interesting to look at. He's just an interesting person to watch, in my opinion. And he seems to love these roles where the character is dealing with a lot of issues and it's a deep psychological exploration. What I'm wondering about, both after this and Arjun Reddy, is if he ever is able to see the error of his ways, if he's ever able to come out the other side and go, wow, that was really bad. I do not want to be that dude anymore. Let's close that chapter and open up this new one. The new Kabir Singh, who's the nice guy and doesn't beat people up all the time. Anyway, without having watched Arjun Reddy, there's one of two ways that this can go. Either he learns that being possessive and obsessive is wrong, and he needs to let go of that trait, those traits, in order to come out the other side a better person. Either he learns how to do that and then she forgives him, or he learns how to forgive himself for all that he's done, and he celebrates her happiness that she has with someone else. Those are the only two ways I can see this going. Either way, I would not be happy with the ending if he did not change and he gets her back. That would make me really upset. I would imagine that the more realistic approach for this story is that he doesn't get her back and that she's moved on with someone else. And the only way for him to truly grow as a person is for him to be happy for her while she's happy with someone else. And that's one of the hardest things to do, to move on to the point that you can celebrate someone else's happiness and not feel any ill will or jealousy about it whatsoever, where you're like, wow, well, I had this special person, that person is no longer with me, and that person's with someone else now, and I'm a better person, but obviously it just didn't line up, and I'm happy for her and I will celebrate her happiness with her. That's a difficult place to get to, especially when you're this kind of guy where it's just like... Anyway, I enjoyed this trailer and I hope you guys did too. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below on the trailer, your thoughts on my thoughts, and I would love to hear like your own experiences in the comments, like how you relate to it. That's the thing that's intriguing me the most, is how y'all relate to this trailer, and if it reminds you of yourself or if it reminds you of people you knew in college or know in college now, or just know in real life, because some people don't change. They might be 35 and still an asshole, you never know. Anyway, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I am Javi Kuei. Peace out.